double insurance. Okay, so yesterday we briefly talked about insurance, and you're gonna, here's some good news, okay? On the exam, if you need this table, they will have it right next to the question. Like it'll be on a full page, printed right next to an insurance question. They will not make you choose. Like the province will give you either the tenant insurance table, or if you flip it, it's the scarier one, the homeowner's insurance table. So they will give you the one you need. So you're not gonna have to choose. For me, for our tests and quizzes, ACs, you're gonna have to pick, is it tenant or is it home insurance, right? So you're gonna have to pick the one. This looks scarier, the home insurance, but let me tell you this. You know what the only difference is that once you own a home, they split it into 4 areas in Manitoba. Okay, that's the only, so your tenant insurance is basically this, right? Just 2 columns to choose from, standard comprehensive. But once you own, then there's 4 areas. Why do you think they have areas when it comes to home insurance? Why does it matter where you live? Say that a bit louder. A bit louder. The prices are different, yeah. It might be that there's a higher crime rate in some areas versus the other, right? So that all factors in, but you know what the most, like the biggest factor is how far you are from emergency services. Does that make sense? Like, so you know where a fire hall is, right, in your neighborhood? Sometimes you live really close to it. Sometimes you live really far from a fire hall. So why is that important? Well, from an insurance company perspective, if your house catches fire, every minute counts, right? It's just like every minute counts. So they know, they have their system. They know your address, how long it's going to take a firefighter to get to your house and extinguish that fire. The longer it takes, the higher the chances that they completely have to rebuild your house. Okay? So it has to do with emergency services, guys. That's what these 4 areas are. So I'll also tell you this. If you live outside the city, did you know that they have fire halls, but they're not staffed? There's something called volunteer firefighters. Have you ever heard of that? So volunteer firefighters, like I could be a volunteer firefighter, probably not a good idea because I'm a teacher, but you can work construction, you can work your regular job, and then your phone will ring, and then you get to accept the call. So basically you're getting called to an emergency. If you say yes, you gotta change, you gotta head down to the hall, get your gear on, hop on the truck, and then go and attend the call. Guess what? That's going to take a long time till somebody gets to your house if you live outside the city, right? And so my good friend is a volunteer firefighter. And he says basically most of the time when there's a fire, we just come to make sure it's safe, like it doesn't spread to the neighbors. But most of the time, by the time we get there, the house is already gone, like it's totaled. Right? So that's why insurance is going to be more when you live outside the city, because you're further from emergency services, and not just that, you're also, sometimes it's also how close you are to a fire hydrant. You know what a fire hydrant is? Yeah. The red thingies that stick out, that's literally, the fire truck has water in it, but it runs out in no time. They need to hook up to one of those to continuously have water and keep extinguishing the fire, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. So let's keep, part of me wants to review tenant insurance. So I think I might do a question or two. And then we'll move on to home insurance, okay? So this is the formula that you have to have on your study sheet. Why don't we do that right now, okay? I'm gonna ask you to grab your study sheet. And under home finance, we're going to break down into tenant and homeowners. Is that hard to see? Well, we're going to try to improve. So how's that? Is that a little better? Sorry, I'm trying to make a study sheet. So that's why I probably can't keep it as small as I would like it to. But this formula, folks, is the same for both types of insurance. So insurance is going to be table rate, okay, plus overage, oops. I'm going to make this shorter, just $1 per thousand, and then multiply it by 1.10 if you want a $200 deductible. Oops, now I'm out of frame here. I've been framed. There we go, out framed. So that's the one I would like you to have on your. Do you think, I honestly think that it might be better to have two versions, and this is why. Because a lot of students mix up the table rate as in like their max. So for pick a number. Pick a value from the table. I will say for tenant, tenant max is, what's the maximum that the table shows coverage for? Anybody remember? 75K. So I'll have that branching off. What's the homeowners? Homeowners max? Anybody know? Go check it. 200,000. And so this number right here is amount over 75K or 200K. I'm going to try this. If I start seeing you guys messing up on the Caesar test because of this, we'll have to revise it, right? So I'm giving you a lot of extra notes there so you don't get that wrong, okay? So this is basically taking care of the formula. And if you need to have an example on there, so be it, okay? If you need to have an example, then that's what you need to do. So this part right here is only if you want a $200 deductible policy. You add 10% to, maybe I will make a note, adds 10% for a $200 deductible. Yikes. If you need to later on come and take a picture of it, you do it. Okay, I'm going to zoom into that a bit more. Okay, I also have to say, I have to kind of prepare you for the unexpected. Could it be that the province has a table where the max for tenant goes to 100,000? It could be. Okay, so you just have to be very careful. I don't think so because these are the tables I've been using forever. Could it be that the maximum homeowners goes up to 400,000 by the time you write your exam? Just be careful, okay? It's like always read carefully and just make sure you know what you're doing, okay? I'm gonna zoom out here. Zooming out. You also need to have additional steps in here. Tenant insurance is renting, right? For renters. What determines the area of the house? And this is the answer. You should have this. They have been asking for this quite often. Distance from emergency services. So basically a fire hall, right? Like how far is the house from a fire hall? I would add this to my study sheet if I were you. All right? So if you need to add an example, you do that, okay? So I'm gonna stop the recording here and go to homeowners insurance. Or maybe we'll try one more tenant, sorry. I know I'm back and forth. I'm trying to read the room. I'm trying to read your brains, your minds, and I can't do it. So let's go to 47. I told you to try the questions on 47. Let's see if this will help you out. Okay, so what is the annual cost to insure an apartment? So you're not owning it, right? So this is tenant. For $65,000, comprehensive, $200 deductible. Let's write down our formula, shall we? Insurance, I will shorten it a little bit, table plus, I will introduce another way of saying over max times a dollar, the dollar amount over 1,000 times 1.10. This is like the full formula, okay? This is taking care of all the components. Let's go and get our table rate. Grab your table. Just look at it. And we want 65,000 coverage, so put your finger on this. Do you want standard or comprehensive? I forgot already. Comprehensive, 400. Okay, so you grab the 400. That, guys, that right there scores you a mark already. You're in, right? A mark, yours. A mark is yours right there. Are we going over our max? We are not, right? 65, like you're here. Like if you go over the max, you'll have a number, a coverage of more than 75,000 that you would want to buy. So you're staying within this. Don't worry about this part. Right? You're staying under the 75,000. So basically it just comes down to this. So all of this is just 400. Do I need to multiply by 1.10? The answer is yes, because I want a $200 deductible. What would 400 be right now? That's a $500 deductible. Okay? But you want to add 10%? This is 440 per year. This is what we call the premium. Premium per year. I always get, every year I get it sent by mail. It's time to renew. They tell me how much it's going to cost. It's per year, but I have the choice to pay monthly if I want to, okay? But the quote is always per year. Okay, keep going. You did this already, right? Yesterday? So this is just, okay. Some of you didn't. So this is your time to pay attention. Another one, insuring an apartment. So this is tenant. $80,000 standard, $200 deductible. All right, so I grab my insurance formula, table plus over max. That's what this is, dollar over 1,000 times 1.10. Do I need to keep the 1.10? Yes, because it's a $200 deductible, so I'm not going to scrap it. 80,000. Watch carefully. Let's do this, okay? Let's do this. It's over 75, right? So you can get 75,000 from the table, but you need another 5,000, right? Over max. Is that small or what? Sorry about that. So you always have to think, oh, this number is over the maximum by how much? By 5,000. Often you can just do mental math. So we're going to get this. This is the table rate we're going to get. And we're also going to introduce that into our formula and multiply it by a dollar amount over 1,000. Okay? So 75,000 standard, we're at 359. So you grab that, 1 mark already yours. Then I need to pay extra. I need to purchase 5,000 additional dollars of coverage. And you go right underneath, it tells you how much you're going to pay extra, $450 for every 1,000. So that $450 needs to go on top here over 1,000. Why does it go all Christmas lightsy on me? It's the pink background, that's what it doesn't like. Okay, so this is it. Now you got to clean it up one step at a time. 359 plus, let's figure out what this is. You go 450 divided by 1,000 times 5,000. So it's 2,250 extra you need to pay. Never cheat on your insurance, okay? So I'm not going to tell them I have a fireplace because then it's going to be more. And then you make a fire in your fireplace and the whole place burns down and now you don't get coverage, right? So don't lie on, they ask you for a reason, okay? 2,250 plus 359, that's 381.80, 381.50, sorry. That gets multiplied by 1.10. So the 1.10, if applicable, you do that at the very end. So it's 419.65, which is what I gave you as the answer key. So 419.65. That is your final answer. Don't put 75,000 in here, okay? You're going to get it wrong. One more. Insuring an apartment. 120,000, is that over? Way over. Over max. Comprehensive, $500 deductible. Yay, I always like that. When it's $500 deductible, I get to do this. Table plus over max times dollar amount over 1,000. This part right here, you don't need that, okay? Because you want a $500 deductible. So this is the reason that you scrapped it. We want comprehensive. So we go comprehensive, we max out. Right? The first $75,000 cost me $454. Plus, how much over are you? I'm going to show that work right here. 120,000 minus 75,000. That is 45, right? 45,000. Hey, I can do mental math on a Friday. That's a pretty good sign. Comprehensive. How much do I pay extra? $550 extra for every $1,000 of coverage. So you just go $550. Do that. close it, no need for that outside. So all of this is just done on the side to come up with that. Okay? 454 plus, I'll figure out what this is. 247.50. Add that up. Wait a minute. Is that what I gave you? Oh yeah, it's right here. Thought I got that one. That's what I would like you to react when I finish a question. It's like, oh yeah, yeah. Hey.